Hi, now we're going to go over the answers from page 162. And you see in the paragraph in part A the different ways that definitions can be presented. So in the first one, you have just the be verb are, right? The broadest categories of memory are, and then you have the definition, and the answer would be short term, and long term there. So we just have the word be. In the second blank, you have a dash, right? So before the dash, you have cerebral cortex. After the dash, you have the definition, and the definition is the outer layer of the brain. And then in the last part, you have parentheses, which also sometimes give a definition. Before the parentheses, you have the word senses, and then inside the parentheses, we have a definition. And here the definition is made up of examples, right? Sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch would be our five senses. Okay, so that should not have been very hard. Now, the next part, the completion part, you had to find the words, underline them, and write the definitions. So let's just go through them together. The first one, consciousness, and that was from lines 7 and 8. The definition, your mind and your thoughts. So your consciousness, everything that's going on there in your brain. Not really talking about emotions as much as thoughts. Okay, number 2, self-awareness was from lines 26 to 27, I believe. The ability to think about yourself and how you're feeling. So we are very aware of our thoughts, our feelings in ways that maybe animals are not. So that would be self-awareness. 3, prefrontal cortex. That's from lines 30 and 32. And the definition, the region of the brain behind the forehead that extends to the ears. So it's kind of in here. This is why if you wear a bike helmet, you should have it down low here because you want to protect that part of your brain. 4, you all know the word memory, but here you had a definition starting in line 42. Stored pattern of connection between neurons in the brain. Now that's a definition from biology, right? You might say, what's a memory? Oh, it's something you know, something you remember. But here's a definition from biology. Number 5, this is pronounced neuron, and you'll see this in any biology class you take. Neuron. This was in the first footnote. So another way we find definitions in footnotes. The cell part of the nervous system that sends messages to and from the brain. Number 6, again, the pronunciation hippocampus, starting in line 50, going to line 52. Part of the brain that helps long-term memories. So if you have a problem with your hippocampus, you can't remember things from long ago. You might remember something from 15 minutes ago, but not from a year ago. And number 7, you might know the word mature, meaning somebody who's not babyish, who's adult. Here's again a more biology definition from line 52, 53, meaning fully developed. So it's fully grown, fully developed. And you can see if you go back to the passage, you can see the many ways that definitions are presented. Now, I want to say one more thing about definitions, and you're going to see this in the last part of the module about textbook reading as well. It's very important when you do textbook reading to know what kinds of tests each instructor usually gives. So if you find out, because you already took one test or because you asked, which is the best thing to do, if you find out that your teacher is going to focus her tests or his tests on definitions, then you need to pay special attention to these kinds of signals saying, here's a definition, parentheses, dashes, in between commas, words like is called, means, is or are, and really focus on those for those kinds of classes. Okay, I think that's all. Bye.